Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So Bitcoin got a little bit of a move to the upside after some shenanigans from the FOMC later in the evening time of New York. So you got to be careful of those red folder news days and capitalize on entries for things you were already seeing in the charts before. We have another red folder tonight for us, but early morning for actually evening. It says 9 p.m. my time. Yeah, so it would be early morning for the Thursday, folks. It is Thursday, November 2nd in Asia. We are in the future, so it is already midweek reversal Thursday, November 2nd. As we go up on this ascending path in this channel of the 0.5, 0.618 of the Fibonacci of the pitch fan. If we take this bars pattern from here to here, this is kind of interesting because we have basically the fractal of us. We're basically talking about a repeat of June to July. So could we be seeing this wick wackiness, and then are we going to see a dump after that? That could be the case. You get this drift up only to dump it back down, but essentially trading in this ascending channel manner. Let's go into high block and take a look at the liquidity here. What is high block, you say? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market makers for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters are. So let's do it now into the 1 minute. So yesterday, FOMC news was inbound here. They came up to that first target pool we were talking about on the 50xers of the shorts. They liquidated all of the 50xers, inducing some 100x longs to the tune of 107 million, 123 million here, and they immediately V-shaped into those guys, destroying them.
Fatality.
And then they went a little bit lower into the older 100x pool and the newer 50x pool and liquidated all those guys too.
Fatality.
And after that, inducing some shorts back into the game to the tune of 110 million here, with a little bit of sparse sprinkling of $20 million pools, and they immediately went up into the 25x region of our final target. Let's go take a look at what our projection was from yesterday, shall we? So we'll erase it once we go over the momentum, but we were talking about coming up to that pool at 35,412. We did do that. We first stopped at the first pool up here, a little bit higher than that, rejected off that. Then the FOMC, in preparation for that, they whacked around in London and then came back to the target. Okay, so let's go back to the current pools of liquidity. Where do we go from here? Well, it looks like there is a $209 million 50x long target down at 34,794. I would expect, if midweek reversal Thursday lives true to its name, that the reversal would be to the downside. You do a lot of extended M patterns when you are looking to basically, where is that graveyard? There we go. You do these extended M's if you are going to reverse sharply on the shorts and make them pay. So that is something that we were talking about. So this could be the extended M pattern. We basically broke out of this range. So that is now higher highs being made. And the pool down below, 209 million 50x longs, and their partners in crime down at 34K. Let's expand our vision to the higher time frames and see what we can see. And shout out to the chat here. Let's go see. Expanding our vision to the 7-day pools. The 7-day pools got wrecked here. We were talking about coming up into that 35.3 region. It came up beyond that to the 35.8-ish. We still have some more up at 35.8, and they're inducing some more as we go. The new path getting paved by the shorts and the longs. Longs also open, new longs also opening below. 7-day is pretty piping hot on both sides. As of this moment, it is piping hot to the 34K region. Let's go ahead and expand our vision to the monthly. Oh, hey, what's up everyone? Dingo, Ireland, Spragadocious, hello, hello. I do it for you every day. Hopefully everyone is getting paid. All right, so let's go back to the monthly here. So the monthly, we talked about this pool up here with the 10 billion at 35.3. They went back and took the entire 5, 10, 15, 20, $30 billion up to 35.7. Do they have any more to take up above? There is a gap up above that 36.2 region. If they reclaim the wick could be reclaimed with the tune of 15 billion, and then the wick would be reclaimed to the left. Ultimately, you have more percolating down below that they would like to stop out in profit if these guys are moving their stop losses up into here, they'd like to come down and stop these guys from getting paid. If we go to the 3-month, not much higher than this, also percolating some pools up in the 37K region, but freshly invited pools from October 24th to now. So you have 13 billion starting to, if we just look solely at this, you do have some pools up here at 37.4, 37.8, and you have some down at 33.2, 33 even, 32.8. The 14 billion at 37.8 is the highest pool you have. In comparison, you do have a $17 billion pool at 31.2. Let's expand to the 6 month. 6 month has 55 billion at 36.3, 32 billion 36.6, 26 billion 35.4, which has now been eliminated. So you have about 50 billion down to that 32.4 region. Is the run finished? Let's go ahead to the 2-year. The 2-year, we talked about this guy above the wick at 36.4, this $133 billion. Do they come back and take that and put in a higher high and sweep the entirety of this range on the 2-year? After that, it starts to taper at 36.8. So do they continue higher or not? Let's go back to the monthly and head into the charts. We did our diligence with the liquidity. We know where everything is. That 36K recovery of the wick could occur if they're going to reclaim it, that imbalance. Let's go back into here and turn on our momentum. Boom, boom, and boom. Heads up display. And link in the description for more, momentummaster.info. Scroll down to features, toggle at your leisure, and read about each of the components as they come into prominence, like the trend cloud, the baselines, the stochastic array. So the stochastic array had you at hello with these 5 time frames oversold each time, telling you got 5 time frames oversold. You sure you want to be shorting into this? And sure enough, upside began. When you get those X diamonds, it's exhaustion on the higher time frames. The key is in the Discord here. If you go to the quick guide, you can see what that means over here. It will let you know what that array is about. You also get the dynamic alerts to your phone telling you individually what it is. And if we go to the daily, let's just make our daily descent through the time frames of information. So the cross down event that was beginning to percolate did not lock in. We were talking about the price action below the baselines, and if the daily candle closed and this locked in, this would be a first sign of reversal, similar to here when we had the baselines crossing up and the price maintaining the baseline. So still have yet for that to occur. We were talking about a double top here on the daily and the Williams kind of drifting, but the possibility of an alarming drop at some point. Going to the 3-day, the 3-day time frame is 1 day away before locking in. This drift of the average of the Williams could still keep going for some time, similar to June, as we said, before this average the baselines come up above the price and cross down. It might take some time, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, yeah, basically a month before this occurs. So we got only 9 days in. Could be a while. If we go to the 22, we talked about this yesterday, about the 22 possibly sending us to the upside. These broken time frames have these probability reset pockets. They get in which are backtestably true, which is why we were looking at the 22 and the money flow beneath the RSI here. And sure enough, boom, to the upside. If we go to the 12-hour, it could still just be starting, so we could be going a little bit higher. I'd wait for the possible news break in New York to subside and then see where the move wants to go. 12-hour time frame just getting started here. Money flow beneath the RSI. We could keep going higher. This pool was taken, so we're going to delete those. And yeah, the 12-hour is possibly still underway. We got 45 minutes for this candle to close. Most likely it'll take it up to the 50 level and bring this money flow a little bit up towards the RSI. When the money flow comes beneath the RSI, that disparity is quite telling of an inbound move, which is why we overlay them. It's a fascinating ability here. Same with the 6-hour, you had this disparity and then boom, brought the money flow back up. Also, if you look at the cloud here, the super trend was holding and the cloud was on your side. We did a video snippet, a short, if you will, talking about the Momentum Master Trinity and what that means. So this trinity of the baselines.
What is the Momentum Master Trinity? First up is the baselines.
So the baselines are your first sign.
When these cross up with price above them, upside begins. Second is the super trend. Simply put, the trend is your friend until the end. When you have the super trend on your side, continuation is probable. Lastly is the trend cloud. This volume-weighted formula displays the amount of volume in the asset. Remember, when the cloud thins, a potential expansion or reversal is in.
And just that. So the cloud was still, it was starting to thin, but it kissed the cloud. You had the super trend and the cloud on your side. So the one thing you had going against you in terms of confluence was the baselines here. And the cloud is thinning, so at some point we will come back to this cloud and break beneath it. So this played out. So at some point we will come back to the cloud and break beneath it and then bearishly retest and continue lower. All right, so at that time you would see a curvature and a thinning begin, and you would do something like this. And the probable play would be to take that kiss of the cloud after the retest. When does that occur? It's a 6-hour time frame, I'm not sure, but you would have to break this super trend and lock it in with a break. And then you would be turning purple, you would come back and kiss that, and then this would be your more likely play. Okay. So the cloud is still on your side, and we were also talking about that on the 4 and the 4-hour and the 1. So we came Wednesday, we were Wednesday. So Wednesday we reclaimed the cloud. We were looking at a short here, the short paid for whatever it was worth. And then we started to come back above the cloud, and we were talking about, well, you got the cloud on your side now, so we're seeing upside. And sure enough, the upside ensued. So when you have that cloud bounce idea, then it bounces off of the cloud being in favor of longs with the price above it, and boom. So we got that re-injection on the 4-hour, the super trend is holding. And if we go to the hourly, hourly was more ambiguous. We had this thing going on with the cloud, and we were talking about basically back here how this curvature could insinuate. I didn't change a thing from yesterday's live. This curvature here was insinuating that we go up. And sure enough, that angle brought the momentum after the shenanigans. So this is how the trend cloud can get you paid And yeah, so looking at that 15 now, where do we stand from here? Super trend and cloud still pointing to 2 o'clock, starting to get the baseline cross down effect. We do have this $209 million character down at 34,794. 34,794 would put you down in here. About just at the cloud. Do we come back and kiss the cloud and continue higher? All depends on what type of things are induced at that time. As it stands right now, it's a pretty sight to behold. This level we're at, 35,366. We have basically reclaimed everything about the wick here. So the wick has been reclaimed completely. This was the wick zone. So we have reclaimed the wick and put in a new high. So there is no quick fix to this, but as we were talking on the last few days about an extended M before dropping it, I would expect a little bit of a stab to these pools below at some point. It is Thursday, November 2nd, midweek reversal, so a little bit of a reversal after putting in a higher high. Bitcoin did its business. Coming a little bit lower could make a little bit of a sense here. You definitely don't want to short bottoms. You'd rather be shorting tops, but you'd have to have an escape hatch and a plan ensue. So on the Momentum Master A, you do have a stop loss formula that you can implement if you're lazy, and it will tell you where your stop loss should be. So you could basically put in a stop loss formula using some math on a time frame, like a 4-hour time frame. If you want to see what the 4-hour will do, then you basically can put in some sort of idea like that and just say, okay, well, what would my risk management be? And you can kind of target a zone and see if it fits a setup, if it's a 3-to-1 or whatever, and which pool you're targeting. And if you switch the time frame will also change the formula, and it will be a tighter stop. So it depends on what scalp you're looking to do, and you can turn that off. And so this one would give you, depending on which pool you're targeting. If you're targeting a sweep of the lows on a 15-minute or 4-hour, then maybe that risk reward is better for you. I would make sure that there's like some pools up above or not. So we do have a 35.8. We already established 35.8 is possible. So I would be looking at basically Asia pumps it into London and fades it. So you could get a London fade day. If you take a look here, we are going to the 15-minute is possibly resetting here in full, getting the Williams alarm cross and the cross down of the baselines. That Asian pump fade is a real thing that occurs into London. So getting this cloud kiss retest idea that could possibly cascade into more, who knows. We are putting in higher highs, so it's an extremely risky idea, but we could be getting an extended M pattern to at least come back and test these cloud ideas. And if you swung the bottom, you could be swinging some other regions up here, because there is no real liquidity beyond this point, particularly on larger time frames like the 6 month and above. We don't really have much above, but once again, the June to July, using that as a template, when you go back to June and July, there was this huge surge up, and then they dropped it back down into leading from July 13th into August 17th. It was a slow bleed, and here you see the perfect example of the cloud. You had this curvature. We came below, we bearishly retest, we dropped. And so it took a long time. That is basically 26 days and more, 37 in total. So we have our work cut out for any of these moves, but essentially we put in a higher high and reversed it. These extended M's, we played in a range, we did an extended M and reversed. This one took a little bit longer to occur. So coming back down a little bit to test that 50x pool is more probable than not at this time, coming down to this $200 million target. Starting to get the cross up of the 5 minute here. Cloud is still mighty thick. I gotta take my son to school soon, so this is where you would get into the scalp section of this. You could turn it on even on a 5 minute. See the ATR based stop loss idea, and you could trim this down to even further and just be like, if the 5 minute knocks me out, it knocks me out. And then even if you're targeting that as a small scalp, you could take that as a scalp. Got the cloud on your side pointing to 2 o'clock. It has not tapered just yet, so until this breaks the cloud and the super trend, it's still long from here. Let's go to the Dixie. Dixie kind of made it up into the region we were looking at. Got some nukes, dropped, came back and fell back down again. We did not make it completely to that zone, but close enough. Let's reassess, go to the hourly. We came back into this fair value gap range and chilled out for a bit. NQ got a bit of a rise to the upside off the cloud here on the hourly. Boom. Starting to get 6 time frames over bought at the top of the range. Some liquidity voids taken over here. Bitcoin dominance. So the dominance we were talking about dropping, it dropped and rose again with the shenanigans. The total 3 also getting some more surge up as the altcoins get more of a rise. You have Near, Neo, EGLD, Arabu, Casper, Uni, Algo, AVAX, Theta, Sol, a bunch of others getting a little bit of a rise. The USDT dominance taking a plunge. We were talking about a plunge / rise thereafter. Still on the thought process of that. If we go to the 4 hour, cloud is thinning but starting to turn to the downside, so you could be getting more of a surge. This is a bearish retest to come down. We do have some vectors to recover here, but if this is starting to have a run to the upside, more people will continue to come in. rejection off the cloud here. Cross down on the 6 hour if you're rejecting the cloud. More ABC possibilities to the downside. Let's do a impulse retrace of this trend base fib level. Does it come down and hold true to this fib idea? If we make it just about that one candle, frugally speaking. The dominance getting a surge here. Money flow beneath the RSI getting that boost. Cross up event of the 6 hour, the dominance taking over for Bitcoin dominance as we put in new highs. So let's go look into the minutia to see the 100xers. There's a 100x pool of shorts up at 35,600 that snuck in ever so slyly, so they may come back to those guys, retest this hitting of the high zone, and then go for the 50x down below. We talked about these 50xers here. The biggest band below the range, but ultimately you have some liquidity here to take to the tune of 10 billion imbalance on the 1 minute time frame. So coming back to that 34,794 region, which we marked off here, could be inbound if you start to break this cloud and the super trend on the 5 minute. So we're just talking about a quick little scalp idea with a tight stop for that risk reward sauce. Not a very high risk reward, but you could leave a runner and target some lows. But that's about all we can glean for the moment. We do have red news folders. Be careful out there in playing the red news. Red news folder coming in tonight, my time, for New York Open is this monetary policy summary, bunch of speakers and unemployment claims as well. So trade safe out there, and yeah, putting in some new highs. Not as the move from yesterday did play out, so we're just letting the move from here percolate. Do we retrace back down and start to get some bullish divergence off of a cloud on a higher time frame? The clouds to watch. Last wrap up in a nutshell. So you got the 27 minutes until the 4 hour candle closes. This is a blue vector, which is a stopping volume candle. So this stopping volume could be just to place the new high, recover the wick, and come a little bit lower and basically reset that 4 hour or the hourly time frame. The hourly is overbought now, so the hourly is going to chill out here for a bit. Do we go sideways and hold the range and go a little bit higher? The liquidity suggests a little bit of a retracement into this blue vector candle. It's also blue on the hourly, suggesting this was a stopping volume candle. So you got the liquidity off these dump of these vectors, and then use that liquidity to stop hunt the shorts and then possibly come back down. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I see a little bit of a cloud kiss retrace idea. Perhaps we are wrong, perhaps we are not. Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day. We'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision,